What makes horror movies scary? What is it about clearly fictional evil that frightens us as an audience? I'm not just talking about jump scares and gore that surprise you, I'm talking about that dread that persists with you even after the film is over. The simple answer is that monsters and villains in horror movies serve as a sort of mirror to the fears of society. Horror movies that released shortly after the Cold War focused on the fear of outside invaders, using Martians as a proxy for communism, and modern horror movies are looking at social issues through the lens of terror, with Parasite tackling class divide and Get Out touching on racism. In this video, I'm going to look at a few common themes within the horror genre and examine what fears they represent, as well as how they transform that fear into something concrete to terrify the audience. One of the most immediately recognizable instances of horror villains acting as stand-ins for real-world fears is the use of extraterrestrials in Cold War-era science fiction films as a symbol for the fear of foreign threats, specifically communism. Shortly after the end of World War II, anti-communist fears were high in America, and that inspired the films of the time, with films both supporting this fear of the unknown and others condemning this unfounded fear of the unknown. Regardless of the film's stances, they were clearly influenced by what people of the time were thinking and worrying about, with one of the best films from this period to capture this fear is Invasion of the Body Snatchers. The film follows a secret alien invasion involving people getting replaced by emotionless duplicates, with one character in the film initially describing it as a contagious mass hysteria, almost as if it were an ideology rather than a planned invasion. There is some debate over whether this film is painting the Soviet Union as dehumanizing, or if it's criticizing the communist Red Scare, with the director saying he considered it a general statement on society without a specific political spin, but it's still clear that this film takes a feeling held within society at the time and expresses those feelings through the metaphor of invaders from outer space. Another film that does this well, although from a different perspective, is The Day the Earth Stood Still. This film follows the arrival of an alien who claims to have an important message for Earth. Throughout the film, you see distrust towards the alien, as well as global distrust, which prevents the President of the United States from communicating the alien's message to other countries. The whole point of the film is to shine a light on the pervasive distrust created by the Cold War, both in terms of fears of communism controlling the world, and in terms of communism invading America with the Red Scare. Both of these films, and many others including War of the Worlds, take a generalized fear felt through society and provide a concrete symbol to express those fears, choosing to do so with the imagery of outer space invaders. It's what makes these films resonate so well with audiences and what makes some of the best horror films timeless. They take a fear that is innate to humanity and express it in a tangible form. The fear of new technology is a constant throughout society, so it only makes sense that this fear popped up throughout various movies. In the 80s, fear of computers led to films like Terminator and War Games. In the 90s, films like Jurassic Park and Gattaca explored what it meant to edit genetic code, and more modernly, films like Ex Machina and Her have explored the addition of artificial intelligence to our lives. These films are typically more direct than the symbolism of Cold War invasion, and instead project how new technology could go wrong into the future. One of the best to do this is Terminator from 1984. The story follows an AI project, Skynet, which eventually becomes more intelligent than the humans running it, and Skynet essentially takes over the world. When this film released in 1984, the computer and electronics as a whole were less ubiquitous than they are today, and this new, powerful tool inspired fear in a way, especially mixed with Cold War tensions of the time. This sort of idea is explored in War Games as well, which sees a computer program control the nuclear response of the United States, but I feel like Terminator does it best with the way it makes Skynet a real character. You get to see into the future when Skynet more or less rules the world, and it presents a potential future where humans have been replaced by computers, and it makes this fear tangible through the character of the Terminator, a cyborg agent of Skynet that kills on behalf of Skynet incredibly effectively. This character is the key to what makes the film so timeless, because in War Games you have to envision what it might mean for a computer to control nuclear weapons, but it's very clear to an audience the danger when you see a robot whose only goal is to kill humanity. Modernly, the fear is less around computers and more around artificial intelligence. Although not distinctly a horror film, Ex Machina explores this AI fear through the lens of a thriller. The film sees a developer working on an AI robot that's designed to completely mimic being a human, and another developer is supposed to verify if the AI is truly human-like. Eventually, the AI manipulates the developer with her supposed humanity before escaping into the city and blending in as a person. Just as Terminator provided a concrete fear of computers taking over, this film creates a tangible image of AI hiding among society and manipulating people. This film came out in 2014, so it's interesting to see how perceptions towards AI have changed in the decades since, but I think this fear of AI infiltrating society is even more realistic now than in 2014, with AI agents and AI-generated websites everywhere now. Terminator may have been overestimating the fear of computers, but I think Ex Machina may have been underestimating the fear of AI, or at least ahead of its time with how people view AI, which is very interesting. It's a really thought-provoking movie that gets more real every day. One of the first modern horror novels is Frankenstein, and the Universal film adaptation in the 1930s is one of the most popular versions of the character, forever altering how people viewed the stories and the characters. Both the original novel and the film adaptation use the work of Dr. Frankenstein as a warning against challenging nature or God, with the film containing the controversial line, "Now I know what it feels like to be God." This challenging of the natural order of things, of life and death, was a big deal, especially when the original novel released, and the film updates this for the 30s. With the film and novel both being so old, it may be hard to picture Frankenstein and his creation representing a fear within society, but Jurassic Park is very similar to the story of Frankenstein in my opinion, and is more easily approachable for a modern audience. Jurassic Park takes this idea of challenging nature and combines it with gene editing, which was the subject of a number of films in the 90s, like Gattaca in 1997. The film sees a scientist recreate dinosaurs for an amusement park before the dinosaurs break free and terrorize the people working there. The dinosaurs defying their creator and causing problems is similar to Dr. Frankenstein's creation breaking free from his confinement and hurting the people of a nearby village, but it provides a pseudo-scientific basis for the events in the film, which I think helps it connect better with modern audiences. The fear, as similarly seen in Gattaca, was that gene editing would cause massive problems for society. While Gattaca explores what human gene editing might mean for society, Jurassic Park more directly tackles the fear of this unknown new procedure. It starts out wondrous and inspiring, but by the end it's terrifying because of the unintended consequences of trying to undo the work of nature. I personally find Jurassic Park to be more effective than Frankenstein because the scientist in Jurassic Park is more good-natured than Dr. Frankenstein. Both of these films make you think about what it means to attempt to challenge the natural order of things, and it feels like a comparison to these two works is made every time there's a real news story involving a controversial scientific breakthrough, which just goes to show how effective these films and their original novels were at collecting and representing a fear held in society. Horror movies are great at taking a broad fear within society and condensing it down to a tangible element to terrorize the characters of the movie. It's really interesting to see how these monsters that just appear to be scary actually have so much nuance to them and what they mean and how they so effectively scare the audience. I love how different movies are more or less literal, with War Games presenting a situation in which a computer could cause a disaster, where Terminator just directly shows a computer-controlled robot wiping out humanity. It's so fascinating to see how societal fears evolve through movies, and it's interesting which films remain timeless and which films fail to connect with audiences after initial release. Personally, my favorite societal influence is the fear of communism in the 50s, both films that were scared of a communist invasion and films that saw the Red Scare as silly. It completely enveloped the United States at the time it was happening, but it's not a concern at all anymore, so in that way it feels like two different worlds. I'm curious to hear about your favorite horror movie and what it might mean, so let me know down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more videos every other week.